So today is May 13th, one day before Brayden's 15th birthday. He'll be 15 months on May 15th. And look at him. See our little prize fighter? Zoom into his face. Look at this. Look at our little prize fighter. Look at him. Look at my little prize fighter. I'm a Gerber baby. I look like a Gerber baby, huh? Do I look like a Gerber baby? Okay, you can get down. We'll just take what you're doing. Get off me. Come here, Braid. Look. Brayden.
So we sneak out in the middle of the night.
Take it over to Mom. Brayden?
Just let it sit there and you come over here.
I don't want to be in it.
He wants to play with you.
No, he doesn't. He wants to play with this.
No, he's been playing until you were doing stuff.
Oh.
Time for nap. Come on. Time for nap.
Oh.
No time for nap.
Sure lay down. It's grumpy.
Let's go to bed.
Let's go see Peter.
Time to go to bed.
Say, I love coffee, I love tea, I love... What are you doing? What are you doing in Grandma's closet? There. How is that? Here. Put him on. Put him on your eyes. There you go. You want to put him on? Where's your nose? Where's your nose? Can you get him on your nose? There, you got him on your nose. Don't bite my glasses. Hi, Daddy. Say hi, Daddy. I am smart little Daddy. Look, you're Daddy. Oh, you're smart. You're smart little boys. Oh, my goodness sakes. Look. Well. Busy. Here. Here. Okay, I'll choke myself here in a minute. Well, Grandma can't put them on yet. I can't put them on yet. Brayden. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. What a silly. Look what you did to Grandma's glasses. Broke them. What would Grandma see with? Hmm? You gonna put them back on it? My God, you look at your face. You look like your nose is broken. It isn't, is it, Mike?
I tried wiggling it. I thought I started wiggling it, and he doesn't cry.
He just he does look like it's broken. Oh. Well, my goodness sakes. Yeah, he's just flat as a pancake.
I think his nose has always been kind of
Huh?
flat.
Come on, I gotta shut the door. Come on in. Come on in, I gotta shut the door.
Well, are you CP? Are you CPs? Oh, you have those glasses. Oh, you put them on my eye? Oh. Oh, nice.
He told me to come in.
I know. You got in trouble, didn't you? How come you got in trouble?
Because she had the doors both open.
Oh, she did.
We're gonna have so many flies here, they're gonna carry you away. Now I got the air conditioner going. The air conditioner's going too, so you got to keep things shut. Oh hell, these windows are open. Mike, shut that window there, will you please? I don't know whether this is open or not. Shut.
La 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 la.
Go sit on Grandma's other knee.
Oh.
Lisa.
God, I look like hell. Come on, sit up here with Grandma. Come on.
Put 3 of them cookies in your mouth first, then get up there. Stick them all in your mouth.
No.
Stick them all in there.
Okay, no, Lisa, put the cookie down.
Put them all in your mouth at once.
Lisa, smile.
Put them all in there.
Braden! Braden! Lisa, get your fingers out of your mouth.
Look, cookie.
I was trying to wake up Braden.
Braden!
Bum, 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 bum.
Braden!
Braden, look at Mommy. Mommy. Brrr.
Get your fingers out of your mouth.
Cookies.
Braden!
Brrr. Bum, 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 bum.
Lisa, smile.
Smile.
Braden!
Bum, 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 bum. Oh. Oh, what a sour pussy. Okay, that's enough. Get down. Get down for right now. Grandma's too warm.
Now my cookie.
I think we should put baby Braden down for a nap.
Can he have a little piece?
No.
Please.
Don't give him the chocolate part. Lick that off. Because he's got diarrhea. The chocolate won't do.
I don't want to do that.
That's what we always do.
Let me turn this off.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna sit and watch people. Let's turn off the TV. Is it?
You know what?
Let's record.
I never did find anything very interesting, really, about people. I'd lot rather go to the zoo.
Yeah, we shouldn't watch the animals.
Watch
Are
them.
we sure it's recording? I'd hate to get this done and have it not have worked. It's working. Okay. All right. Who are you? Okay. Tell me your full name.
I am your aunt, your great
aunt.
your great aunt, Aimee.
Okay. When were you born?
July 26th,
1916.
1916.
16. Okay.
Did you know that?
16 or 12. Who was born in 12?
Bill.
No, of your family. Of the,
In fact, in
or
1912.
they were married in 1912. I knew, because I knew something had happened in 1912. Your parents were married in 1912. Weren't they?
My mother was born.
Somebody was born in 1912.
You just said Bill was
Yeah.
born in 1912.
Yeah, he was. He's 75.
So what child are you in the birth order?
Third.
Third. So what can you remember about your mom?
Well, I don't remember a lot of things about my mom, but I think the most, when I look back, probably how kind she was. She was a very kind person. Timid. Shy. But beautiful. Mama was really pretty. And she used to have real long, dark hair.
Yeah, I know. I've got pictures from then. Pictures of her with a cat and stuff when she's like 12 or 13.
Yeah.
I don't think you've got copies.
No,
of those.
you know what? I don't have any pictures like that.
I got those from Butler's.
Oh, you did?
I got those from Butler's.
When did you go see them?
When we first moved to California, Michael and I, we went up there and got all kinds of stuff. They gave us, charged an arm and a leg for copies of these pictures, like $5 for small print.
You're kidding.
No, but I think they had them custom done.
Oh.
And so,
Who did you see? Did you see Aimee?
Ina and Laura.
Laura.
Yeah.
Laura's gone now, isn't she? Too bad.
Yeah.
I'd like to go up to see her too. Now her mom I thought looked a lot alike when they were younger. Now is it? I don't know. Did she look like Mama when she?
I didn't really think
You know
so.
what? Kenny said Ina looked so much. He thought just as he opened the door and seen Anna, he said it's just like Mama.
I think Ina looked more than Laura does.
You know who looked in our family was Doris.
Hmm.
Looked the most like Mama. We took after Dad's side of the family in a lot of ways.
The Creeds. Yeah.
More ways than one, that's for sure.
Yeah. But Ina see, I can't even remember Grandma that one. I don't remember Grandma very well. I remember certain things we did, but personality-wise, everything in my mind, I'm sure, is very, I don't remember what her personality was. Because you don't judge people's personality when you're, 6, 7 years old. So I can't even really remember what, if I talked to her today, what I think of her personality. See, Ina was nice, but she seemed very harsh to me.
Oh, really?
But I might have been interpreting it wrong.
See, I've never met Ina.
Laura reminded me more of what Grandma would have been. She's very sweet,
Yeah.
very kind, just a sweet lady. But Ina seemed more streetwise than,
Well, her husband was a CHP
yeah,
for many, many years.
yeah.
So it kind of rubs off on you,
She just didn't seem like a friendly person.
Didn't seem like the Butlers.
I don't know. She didn't seem like...
Maybe she seemed more, well, I shouldn't say that. Maybe she seemed more like Grandma Butler.
I mean, she was, yeah, from the pictures that Grandma Butler never saw. I never seen no pictures of her
You're right.
smiling. She's very stern.
That's right.
You
She
know,
was too.
and that would be who she'd remind me of, I guess. But I don't know, I spent the afternoon with her. She wasn't rude. She was very nice. She drug out, they've got everything. They've got all the stuff. They have so much stuff. And see, I took all the pictures that I'd gotten from my mom's, and I took them up there, and I said, okay, who's this, and they've identified all kinds of stuff, people that I had no idea. And I don't think a lot of people could have identified. And she sat, and we've made cassettes. We sat and talked. And I sent her those cassettes about a month ago, because Laura was on them, and I thought she might like them. I haven't heard from her. But we sat and talked. Well, tell me about what you remember of your mom and dad together. What kind of life did they have?
Well, Bob worked in the mines. He was gone, it seemed like an awful lot with the kids. No, it's hard to remember because there's too many kids in there. I remember.
Many kids? How many kids?
Oh, 7.
Is it 7?
But Saturday night bathing was something to remember. We had 2 tubs set up in the kitchen.
You only bathed once a week?
Yeah. And the old wood stove, Papa would stoke up the old wood stove till it got really hot, And then he'd get the water hot on top of the stove, pour it into these big old tubs. And the clean kids got bathed first, and the dirty kids got bathed last.
Who was always the dirtiest?
Sonny.
Was he heavy even then?
No. Sonny never got heavy till after he got out of the Navy. He wasn't that heavy even when he was in the Navy. That's where he learned to drink the beer. I think that's what put a lot of weight on Sonny.
So, what are the kids' names and orders? Tell me the birth order of all the family, all the kids and stuff. It's in the bag in the back bedroom.
Well, Kenny,
I drink both of them.
Kenny's the oldest,
Okay.
and then your grandma, she's about 2 years younger than Kenny,
Grown on.
and then 5 years between Norma and I.
That's because of the divorce.
Yeah, and then Sonny, and Doris, and Walt, and Jim. Of course, Jim passed away in 1949. one.
Yeah, he was really young.
Yeah, 17.
Yeah.
That's terrible. It sure is.
Was Walt the one who was closest to Jimmy?
Yeah.
It seems to have really affected him.
Yeah.
I think Walt was was closest to Kenny as far as Walt felt closest to Kenny and closest to Jimmy from what
Well, I think that's
his brothers, I guess.
typical where there's the older brother and the younger brother.
Yeah.
So.
So, well, tell me about the divorce. So you
I-
don't know. What do you know about it?
None. I don't know anything.
See, nobody.
I was surprised when I found out. I didn't even know anything about it.
See, Ina would not talk to me about it, and I knew she knew. Had you? I know I must have told you. You may have forgotten that you were born 7 months after they were remarried. I thought that was interesting. I mean, not that I think there's anything wrong with that, but I wonder if that was part of the reason why.
Probably.
They remarried.
Oh, I imagine.
Obviously,
Yeah.
she must have loved him a lot.
She did.
So.
And he could be so good, and he could be funny. He loved to dance. He loved to sing. Dad had a terrific personality. He was so different. Mom was so different. She was always the lady.
Yeah.
Always so proper.
Mhm.
Of course, once in a while she'd fly off the handle.
Yeah. She didn't drink though at all, did she?
No, never, ever, or smoke.
I remember once she told me it was okay to say, damn and hell. That those were, as long as you didn't say them towards other people, it was okay. And that's always stuck with me, that they're not bad as long as you don't say them towards other people. But, I don't know.
She used to, once in a while, she'd get a little angry and she'd say, oh, sugar. I used to think, oh, Mom, she's going to say something. But she never did. No, she was always a lady.
So you don't know anything about the
No,
divorce?
I know nothing about that. I didn't know anything about that till after I was been married for years.
Oh, really?
That's true. And you didn't know anything, did you? Till after Mom was gone, and you found the papers or something?
I have both marriage certificates. Do you have copies of those? Did you?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, that really surprised me. Of course, Mom was never one to talk about personal things.
See, Ina knew something. She was
naturally, I would know.
I think she was very closed-mouthed. She was,
Yeah.
she's very proper. That's not right to discuss it. She wouldn't say anything to tarnish the family. I got the impression she did not like.
Prying.
No, she didn't like your father. She did not.
Oh, no.
I got that distinct
I
impression.
don't think they
that
did.
that family
No,
did not.
I don't
like
think
him.
they did. I don't think they did.
I guess really I can kind of see it with the drinking and stuff.
Well, he's completely different.
Very different, yeah.
But-
Now he drank a lot, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. But then Dad worked awful hard when he was younger too. It wasn't all that, because he worked in the mines and he worked hard. The one thing he did, he always raised a beautiful garden.
Really?
I mean, we always had a beautiful garden. And he raised, and we raised a lot of, naturally you have to raise the food you eat
Yeah.
too. And Mom used to bake all her bread. And Lord, you don't just go to the corner grocery store and buy stuff like you
we're
do now.
spoiled.
Sure, we're spoiled.
Do you remember, when Jimmy was born?
No. I don't. No, I don't. I don't think kids didn't get involved in things like that.
Do you remember being pregnant or any of that?
No.
What you thought of it?
No, I do not. No, I don't remember that. I don't imagine Mom got very big where it was even noticeable.
Yeah,
No.
she's pretty. I don't know though. Was she? How tall was she? She was one of the taller women.
Well, about
in the family.
5'2",
So,
maybe 3.
I
at
thought
most.
she was okay.
She seemed like she was taller
She was
because
so-
she was so slender.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of difference.
Lois is built. I think maybe a lot like Grandma.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, I'm not built that too much on top.
No,
Built more
you're built more like the rest
you
of us.
and Doris.
Yeah.
A little more busty here.
Yeah, Lois is built more like Mom.
So what did your dad look like?
I thought he was real handsome. But naturally, that's what.
The pictures I've seen, he's big, kind of.
Now, Dad really had a personality. he could talk with anybody. You know, he liked, like I said, he liked to laugh. He liked to have he liked to have fun. But I think Mom was very serious. I know he used to, if he'd go by the stove, Mom be standing at the stove fixing something, or he'd pinch her on the bottom a little bit, and she'd get real embarrassed and say, Jess, you know, like the children will see you, you know, or something like that. But,
Yeah, no show of affection, probably.
yeah, well, it wouldn't be from Pop, because he liked affection. I mean, he was very affectionate. It was on her side.
Very proper.
Yeah. But I can remember that there was even during the Depression, no matter how hard up it was, every night there was a candy bar under Mom's pillow that my dad did there. And you know what? Not one of us kids, we all knew it, but not a one of us would dare take that candy bar.
Huh.
That was Mom's little treat for the day.
How sweet.
Yeah, Mom loved candy, you know.
What a thoughtful thing, though,
Yeah.
for man.
Yeah.
That's thoughtful.
And I know they had lots of good times, because I remember listening to them laugh, and you know, after they go to bed at night, they always read. Both of them read. And Pop used to drag crackers to bed, and that used to run Mom crazy. His crackers and cheese. But I'm sure they had lots of good times together.
So well, they must have. They had enough kids.
Yeah.
So, where did you live? Tell me about where you lived.
Well,
Let's go furthest back. The first place you can remember living.
Well, the first place I remember was Masonic Bar.
Yeah, I have pictures of that.
Had one big loft. It seemed, as I recall, it was like a log cabin style house, but it was large. It was a pretty large place. And it was a wood stove. I remember a huge big cooking stove. And it seemed like there was somebody that lived on the land that worked in the mines of the people.
Mm-hmm.
And
What year is this?
Norma used to, I was probably 6.
So 19
5 or
what?
6.
19 what?
Probably 1922, something like that. 23. But there was a big loft in the upper part, had a big loft. That's something you should ask Norma about. She would remember that place better than I
I
do.
need to sit down, girl.
Yeah, you do.
I should have done this with Kenny.
Yeah. Yes.
Because Kenny had,
I know.
did, that, you know, I got, you know, enough to talk to him about
Yeah.
pictures and look through his albums, but somebody should have sat down with Kenny and did this too.
Well, this is what people should do. But they all think about it till it's too late.
Yeah. I've got to make sure this is working. I have a fear this isn't working.
Because, you know, Kenny had it.
All right.
I think your hubby's getting hungry.
Well, he's okay. He'll take care of himself.
I should look at it. Michael, will you check the timer over there by the stove and see what time it says? How many minutes left on it? Or if it's still running? How much?
16.
16.
16 minutes? That's about right, I guess.
Oh, smells good. I remember Grandma used to make banana nut bread
Mhm.
all the time.
She sure did.
Send it to me, send me to school with it. I remember that.
She could bake pretty good.
Mhm.
And Papa, he was a good cook.
Really?
Yeah. And I'll tell you one thing we always hated to see, and that's when Aunt Ethel come to visit.
Now that was Grandma's. Now who was that?
That was Dad's sister,
Okay.
youngest sister. She's only about 15 years older, you know, than I am.
Mhm.
I remember when Grandma Creed died.
Tell me about your great grandparents or your grandparents, as much
Now-
as you can remember.
Well, I don't remember the Butlers at all. You know, I never seen them at all when we were young. I never seen Grandma Butler until we moved to Sacramento for a little while when he went to Alaska. And
Who went to Alaska?
Huh?
Who went to Alaska?
Bill,
Oh.
during the war. And we moved to Sacramento and we stayed there about 6 months. And Doris and I drove up to see Grandma Butler. And that's the first time I remember seeing her.
What did you think of her?
In years. I had seen her, oh, I shouldn't say. I saw her one time when I was staying with Aunt Ethel. We went up there to visit Laura and all the kids. And I saw her then.
Amy, you got something burning?
I hope not.
Time this sucker go off.
That I got the timer set.
Well, you better come look.
Well,
You want to go check? I'll just put this on pause. Okay. Now, what did you think of Grandma Butler? Cora Butler.
we didn't know her.
You must
It's
not
hard.
have liked her, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean-
mean.
She was pleasant. I mean, but I think if I hadn't seen my granddaughters for all those years, I would have reacted differently than she did. But
That's
that's
kind of cold.
yeah.
That's the pictures I've gotten. That's how Anne struck me.
Yeah.
That she's probably a good lady.
Yeah.
She's just kind of cold.
Mhm.
So what about, do you remember anything about Grandpa Butler, Nelson?
No, he died many years before. No, I have never seen him. No.
Okay, what about Grandma and Grandpa Creed? Josephine and Walter Monroe?
Huh?
Josephine and Walter Monroe Creed.
Grandma Creed was the sweetest little person I ever knew, I think. Really.
She was heavy. She was quite big.
Well, she was tiny. She was tiny.
From the pictures I'd seen of
I
her.
don't know. Well, you mean was she heavy?
Isn't wide, yes.
Well, she
Quite.
was, yeah, I think she was a little on the heavy side, but she was short. And but there was always cookies, there was always something. No matter how many grandkids would come, she would always have something.
What kind of personality did
She
she
was
have?
great. She was full of fun. A lot of the kids took after her. In that way. And they used to have an old organ. And Grandma and Grandpa would sit at the organ. Grandpa, was only 5'1" or 2. He was very
Oh my
short.
goodness.
But he was very distinguished looking.
Okay.
And he was a school teacher for many years. But they'd sit there at that organ and they'd play the organ and Grandma would sing. And she believed in Sunday school for kids. But living where we did in such a remote area, the only Sunday or church they had was in the school. And they had what they call a traveling preacher that come around occasionally when the school is the focal point of all social life,
Yeah.
in a small area like that. So the dances was held in the school, everything was held in the schools. And Grandma Butler, Grandma Creed, I remember her and Grandpa being there dancing together. And they were all their social life. Everybody in that community was centered around the school. Because that's all you had. If they had the card parties, they might have had card parties and things like that in other people's homes. And I can remember going to other people's friends, and it seemed like everybody had a loft, and this is where the kids always ended up, just in the loft, No matter how many kids went, they would always end up in the loft. Isn't that weird?
That's funny.
Mhm.
So how many, do you remember the names of your dad's brothers and sisters?
There was Goldie, Gladys, and Ethel. And there was a boy named Rome.
Yeah.
Rome died. Let's see. So it was up in some place by Dunsmuir. A little community up there. In fact, that's where his grave is. Did you know that?
Mm-mm. I think I've got his death certificate. I think I've
Well,
got his death certificate.
His wife's last name was Schmidt. I can't remember the first name. And she died when she was quite young. in the family, where the Smith family, where Rome, and in fact they had a little girl, and she died quite young also.
Really?
But Rome, but they had the Smith family that lived there, I guess, for many years. And there was a cemetery on their property. And these people, and Rome, and the little girl, and she and his wife are buried there.
In Dunsmuir, you
It's
think?
this side of Dunsmuir.
California.
Yeah, but in California. I imagine Dunsmuir would be where you'd find the records of that if you
I
wanted
think
to.
I've got one of those kids. I've got one of them.
I think
Her
he
dad's
died of
children.
consumption. So,
Very common.
yeah.
Very common back
But
then.
I don't know, it seems to me like I heard somewhere, and I don't know if this could be verified, that the little girl was mentally retarded.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm not sure. It just seems like it, that I heard that somewhere in the years that's gone by, but I don't suppose there'd be any way of verifying. What difference does it make anyway?
So there's only those 3 kids, Goldie, Gladys, and
And-
Rome, and
Goldie, and Gladys, and Ethel, and Dad, and Rome.
I have a copy of that census record when they were living in Siskiyou County that lists all the kids.
Yeah.
I have a copy of that from the church. You know, you can go through, you know, anywhere that has archives, and you can copy them off the microfilm machines. So I've got that. I've got stuff showing what might have been Josephine's parents, but see, I don't know her parents' names. Do you have any idea what their names might have been?
Well, let's see. Somebody was named Estes.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
have
the
a record
name.
of that?
Mm-hmm.
And somebody was named Wooden.
Mm-hmm. Got that. That's a difficult one because there's so many different spelling, and when you go through census records, I mean, they didn't care. They just said they didn't even ask how to spell it. They just the man would go door to door, and he just write it as he thought it should be written, and so it could be under anything. But there were twins in that family in the one I found.
Yeah, there was
Matilda
twins.
and okay, then I've got the right record.
Yeah, there was
Matilda
twins.
and somebody.
Because my dad had twin cousins.
Matilda and Miranda or something like that. Very different names.
And then Grandpa Creed had a sister. Her name was Ella.
Oh well.
And she lived in Santa Ana. In fact, she's buried in Santa Ana.
Oh,
And-
really?
So was her, and her husband's name was Len.
What were their last names?
I can't remember the last name. Isn't that funny? Aunt Ella and Uncle Len. That's certainly, and she's buried the same place that Grandma Creed is.
I've never been there to see Grandma
Oh.
Creed, as in my Grandma Creed or your Grandma Creed. My Grandma Creed's your sister. I mean, are you talking about Grandma Josephine?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's buried up on the Klamath River. Grandpa Creed is buried in the cemetery in Westminster.
Why are they buried in separate places?
Well, she died. She was young. They were living up there when she died.
You remember what she died of?
She died of cancer of the uterus.
Oh, really? I've got her death certificate. I don't remember it saying that.
And I see now that's something that I have no way of knowing except from maybe Aunt Ethel telling me.
I think I've got
You
her
know?
death. I'm pretty sure I've got her death certificate.
But that's what
Yeah, because that's where I got Estes from.
because I think it's pronounced Estes.
Estes, yeah. I don't, E-S-T-E-S or
Yeah,
something like that.
Estes. But probably Aunt Ethel told me. But I remember when she died. I don't remember as being that young. I don't remember a lot of the pain of everything. That I felt. But I remember how sad everybody else was. And at that time, the coffins was in the house, you know, and I must have been pretty tiny because they had a stool. I remember getting up on the stool and looking into the coffin and thinking about Grandma just being asleep, you know, which is typical for probably a 6-year-old,
Yeah.
I think. But I remember Aunt Ethel going down by the spring house. Sitting down there was a big rock down there by the spring house. And she sat there on that rock and looked out the river, and the tears just running down her face. I remember putting my arms around her, and she put me up on her lap and talked to me, you know. And I probably cried too, not really knowing why, you know, but just knowing that the sadness of it. So I remember that quite well. But
How'd Grandpa take it? Your grandpa.
hard.
Did they have a good marriage?
I think they must have had an excellent marriage. I never, ever heard of a quarrel. And we stayed there quite a bit. No, never did. And actually, I never, even when we were younger, I don't remember Mom and Dad quarreling that much either.
I guess then it wasn't as open. You weren't as, I mean, now people arguing. for
Oh,
their
now
kids all the
people don't
time.
care. They throw things and everything else.
Yeah, out in the street
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah, that's
so.
right. Not so much. And that's the difference in people. I think people have learned to be more open,
Mhm.
you know. And I think that to classify the Butlers, they would to me would probably be a stodgy, you know, cold, upright family or something. But Dad's family seemed like to be more
Party.
loving and,
Good timers.
well, yeah, but more loving too. You know.
It seems like our whole family then took after that side.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That part of it, anyway.
So who of your brothers and sisters were you closest to growing up?
Probably Norma. When we were little. Kenny left home. He was about 16 or 17 when he left home. So I was probably closer to Norma. And then as we got older, then Norma married and started having her family. I guess Doris and I was close. It makes a lot of difference when one family lives in the southern part of the state and the other family, and the rest of them live in the northern part of the state. You know.
Do you remember when Jimmy died?
Mm-hmm.
Was that really hard on Grandma?
Yes. Yes, it was. That was terrible for Mom. It sure was.
Now something to do with his kidneys?
He had what they call Bright's disease.
Yeah, right, that's right.
Which was caused really from scarlet fever.
That's what his
He had scarlet fever when he was 7 years old. And he really we were quarantined. But thankfully none of the rest of us got it. But he was real bad. In fact, he had to go into the hospital. But the doctor that was taking care of Jim after Jimmy passed away, he called all of us into, I think they call it solarium, you know. And he talked to all of us, and he said and Sonny become very belligerent. He said I suppose because we didn't have any money, or it was during the Depression,
Yeah.
just after, you know, just as the war in 1941, that because you don't have any money where you can't afford to send your kids to the best hospitals and this, you know, things like that, so we sent to the doctor. That doctor said if you had $10 million, you couldn't have saved your brother's life.
So Sonny was feeling like maybe they
Well,
had more money they could have.
Well, yeah, Sonny was feeling that. That's the way Sonny, you know, that's the way he
Yeah.
said it to the doctor.
Okay,
And
okay.
the doctor just took, he had $10 million. You know, I couldn't talk about Jimmy for a long, long time. It was very, very sad. And he was a good boy.
So did you know what was happening when he was going to die or anything?
Who expects a 16-year-old kid to
I mean,
die?
did they put him in the hospital and?
Yeah. He died in the hospital. He was in a ward with quite a few other people. But because most of them was older, naturally older people, he was there at Christmas time. And when we went into the hospital to see him, they had a big, beautiful tree, all decorated, right close to his bed where he could enjoy it. Just like he was in bed here, and it was right across, you know, from where he was, where you could see it. He was in he was in the hospital for Christmas, and he died the 28th of December. And I had gone home because I had little kids to take care of.
Oh, I didn't know. You were that old then. But you had children young.
Yeah, I had two, and I had another one there on the way. Linda was born in April of 42. She's gonna get that dog all excited again today.
Okay, let's see. What do you, okay, tell me about what you remember about Grandma taking me, raising me as much as she did.
Well, I don't know if there's anything to remember. You just was there with Grandma. That's. I know she sure did love you.
Yeah. I think that's why I got so close to you guys and you and Sonny, and, you know,
Yeah.
more closer to my great aunts and uncles than most people are.
Yeah.
Because I think you guys you don't think of me as just, you know, distant relatives.
Well, your mom worked, and she obviously couldn't take care of you. So where other place isn't that the place to be with your grandma?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the way it usually goes. She was real good. She worried about you all the time. Like Christine would say, "Oh, I've got a terrible headache. Oh, my head hurts. I need a Band-Aid on my head." I remember you going, "Oh, my head hurts. I need a Band-Aid on my head." Like a Band-Aid was a cure-all for everything. Stub your toe and that's you get a Band-Aid. Your headache, you got a Band-Aid. And you hate to have your hair brushed. Oh, my Lord, I've never seen a kid hate to have their hair. You used to hide the hairbrush. And Mom would say, "Where'd that little Dickens put that hairbrush?" You know, and she'd scoot around and looking for it. But you were good. You were a good baby. And you were a lot of comfort to Mom. That's one thing for sure.
Okay, what do you mean?
Well, it was like having something of your own again, you know, another baby to take care of. And you're responsible for that baby. Grandma did a good job with you, Christine. And you did. But it was nice for you because you still had your mother.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember my mother. Yeah. I don't remember having my mother. Yeah.
Your mother worked hard. She worked hard. She worked nights a lot and had to sleep in the daytime. So.
We're videotaping.
Oh, God.
Grandma took good care of you.
Between the big kid and the little kid and the two dogs and the two kids in here, I gotta go take a nap.
Oh.
Let's see, what else? Have we covered everything? I must have forgotten something.
Well, there's probably a lot of things. You didn't know that Grandpa Creed had a sister that lived down there in Santa Ana?
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that? They owned a hardware store. Out on West Fifth Street in Santa Ana. She looked just like Mom, just like Grandpa Creed. Had the same curly hair as he had, and short, little. She looked almost like, they looked like twins. But she was a little bit older. She was a great walker. She used to walk into Santa Ana every day. She'd walk into town. And once in a while, she'd hitchhike.
I guess it was safe then, though.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, she used to hitchhike into town once in a while.
So what did your family do for fun?
Well, we played cards.
What kind of cards did you play back then?
About the same thing you kids play today. But you go fishing, fan tan, Grandpa also taught us to play poker.
Did Grandma play cards?
She played whist. They belonged to, used to go to whist parties, I know that. Grandma loved to play, you know how she loved to play pinochle. Grandma was a good card player. Mom and Dad both played cards a lot. That's one thing they really liked to do. That's cutting the breast off a lot of the kids and family too.
And the reading.
Yeah. Yes, they go both, like I say, they both go to bed at night and read. Even when they had the old coil lamps. Norma and I used to, when they turned the lights off at night, turn the, the lamps, blow the lamp out. If it was a bright moonlight night, Norma and I try to read by moonlight. And sometimes we'd lay in bed and we'd talk about things. We'd get tickled and Grandpa, he'd pop and pound on the old walls and tell us to shut up and get to sleep, But
What did you get, when you were young, what can you remember getting in most trouble for? What did you do that was...
Oh, I don't want to tell this.
Oh, what is this?
No.
Oh, come on. Tell.
Christine,
This sounds good.
this is going too far.
This sounds good. What did you get?
Oh, so Sonny and I took some baby chickens and threw them down the back of the toilet.
You killed the chicken?
No, we just threw them down in the hole. Have you ever seen one? Back here.
The outhouse.
The outhouse? Have you ever seen it? You've seen an outhouse. Okay. It had two holes. It was a two-holer outhouse. And so he took some of them and put them down one, and I took some and put them down the other. And Pop went out there and he heard those chickens down there. We got a blister, and besides that, we had to get down and get the chickens out.
Oh, yuck.
Needless to say, we never pulled that little trick again. Oh yeah, we used to get into a lot of trouble. We used to do a lot of things.
So who was the most trouble? Who was the worst troublemaker in the family?
Me and Sonny. We were the worst. We sure were. Of course, Kenny, I don't remember Kenny too well getting into any trouble.
What about Walt?
I don't remember Walt that well.
Really?
Well, I was married
Yeah, because he's the
at
next
7.
youngest.
Yeah. I was married at 17. I know they used to run me crazy. I can tell you one thing I remember. I don't think it should be recorded.
What? Tell me.
They used to have a peeing contest. He and Jimmy to see who could go
Go furthest.
They'd get out and they'd mark a line, a chalk line, like that, see. And then
How old were they?
They get up on
18, 19.
No, they were 6th and 7th age at that age.
Sounds like
And
a typical boy thing.
Yeah, and they get up on this porch, see, and see which one can go.
Walt and Jimmy.
Yeah. See which one could get to the line.
Oh.
They were ornery. And Doris and Sonny used to fight all the time. They're the ones that really did fight.
What were the age? What was the age difference?
2 years. Yeah.
Who was what of the boys? Who was the one who had the most luck with the ladies? That liked women the most?
I'd say Sonny. And I think Sonny was a big lover in the family. Kenny's a one-woman man.
So was Walt, I think, from what I know.
Well, he was only married to Jimmy. Yeah. And I'd say Sonny more than anyone.
What about the girls? Who's the wildest?
Me. Naturally.
So tell me about Doris. What can you remember about her when she was a girl?
She had the biggest eyes I've ever seen.
She was pretty.
Yeah. Doris was.
Yeah, remind me of the pictures I've seen her remind me a lot of Betty Davis. The pictures I got of her really
She had the same
like
kind of
Betty
eyes.
Davis.
Yeah. She was a sweet little girl. I remember when she got her fingers cut off.
She had her. Oh, that's right. That's right. I'd forgotten all about that. Now, how did that happen?
Well, we were in the woodshed playing. This was behind the grocery store. There was an apartment, sort of. Nowadays, you would call it an apartment above the grocery store. And we were living there then. And the woodshed was down behind, you know, behind the grocery store. Down, the apartment was upstairs. You had to walk down the steps and go out to the back to the woodshed. And there was two big trees, shade trees. I don't remember what kind of trees they were. But they had Dad had left a hatchet in the wood, where they used to cut wood on, you know, take a big log like so, and then put the wood on that, and, you know, to split it. And Dad, when he got through, he just left the hatchet there. And Sonny and Doris, that's what they were doing. They were splitting the wood. And Sonny cut Doris's thumb, his finger off. And I remember screaming and yelling, and Dad came out to see what the heck was going on, and rushed Doris. I think they rushed her to Medford, Oregon. But I remember them looking for those fingers in the leaves. There was leaves there, you know, from the trees, where the shade trees. And I guess maybe, I think she was 3.
That young.
And Sonny was 5. That'd make me 7. But I remember that. So.
What's some of the happiest times?
Oh, the happiest times is when we used to have our picnics, go picnic. We'd go to the neighbors and picnic, and then we'd play in the streams. We had a lot of fun as kids. We really did. And and you know, we all had chores, but we never complained. I don't remember any of us really doing a lot of complaining about what we had to do. You know, we just did it. And one of the things I remember we didn't like to do, but we had to do it, so we did it. And that's when it was not pinto beans, pink beans. Dad grew pink beans. And when it came time to harvest these beans, he'd put them all on a big canvas. He had a great big canvas. And he'd throw all these beans, would be thrown down on this canvas, and us kids had to pick out the rocks and everything out of these beans. And it took days to do it, but we did it.
Oh my gosh.
Another thing I remember is when we was kids, Dad used to make jerky. And he had a fire. He had some rocks. Like he'd make a ditch, you know, and put rocks on the ditch. And then he'd put a fire in this ditch. And then hang the jerky, string the jerky up there on string, and put the jerky. And one of us kids had to go out there and keep the flies off.
Fun job.
Yeah. One time we had a cart. We built a little wagon. This was Sonny and I, and Norma. We built a little wagon, and we got Sonny up to the top of the hill, and we let this wagon go. And it almost hit a tree. It just missed it, and when it got down to the bottom of the hill, Sonny fell out. And he just lay there, Norma and I started screaming. We thought we'd killed him. Oh God, he's dead, you know, because he did just lay there. It probably did stun him, you know, but we thought he was a goner because he almost hit the tree. Yeah, we did a lot of ornery things.
Those 3 of you sound like you were the closest.
Well, yeah.
Closest in age.
Yeah. So.
Who was Grandma Creed, Ethel Creed? Who was she closest to of her family?
Probably Laura.
Yeah.
Because I think wasn't there a lot of letters in Mom's stuff from Laura? Because almost every letter Mom would write to me, you know, after I got married and I was living down here, she would mention Laura's name. So I think she kept in contact with Laura through all those years.
Maybe Laura was one of the few who I got the impression that the Butlers really passed judgment on Grandma for marrying your
Oh, I'm
dad.
sure they did.
And maybe Laura was one of the only ones who
I'm sure
wasn't
they
such
did.
a snob that.
Yeah. I'm sure they did. But things like that should be water under the bridge and should be forgotten.
Oh, I don't
You
know.
know.
See, I don't think so. I don't think it only the good stuff should be remembered. I think it tells a little bit more about the personalities to learn.
Well, I mean, she should have been able to get closer
Oh,
to
yeah, I
her
agree.
mother and to her sisters and everything after Dad was gone. She did go visit more, but they lived there in Redwood City for a long time. And Butler was living in Placerville. It looks to me like there was some way that they could have got together. They did after Dad passed away, see, but not ever before.
Yeah,
She can only
see,
hold
the
it.
Butlers were very. They had. They were probably a little more well-to-do. Maybe,
Oh yeah.
Than, because Ina told me that she knew very little. She said about Grandma and your dad, but she said she thinks they met when your Grandpa Creed was teaching in that area, and that's how the two
Oh, I
met.
think that. Yeah. I think that's how they. You know. One of Pop's first jobs, you know, was singing in a saloon. He had a job in a saloon and singing when he was 16 years old.
Your dad. Really? That's interesting. Who got his musical ability? Who can sing in the family of your brothers and sisters?
Well, I think all of us sing pretty good.
Really? I've never heard any sing.
No. Oh, I don't mean professionally
Yeah.
singers, but it just sing in the shower or sing while you're doing the dishes or something like that. I used to love to sing. And Kenny did, so did Kenny. Kenny loved to play the harmonica.
Yeah.
You know.
Music.
And Sonny liked to sing. You know, they all, almost everybody sings anyway.
So,
Don't you like to sing?
yeah, I like to sing, but I meant who sang the best. I mean, who could you listen to and say, hey, they really sound good?
Doris was good.
So it seems that Walt seems to be a little more serious, but maybe that's what everything he's been through than you or what I remember Doris being, and maybe he got a little more of the other side of the family.
Oh, I think, yeah. I think so too.
But being a baby, basically, you know, almost the baby of the family. It's a little different.
Well, he was the baby of the family.
Yeah.
After Jimmy passed away there, he was the youngest. I think too, moving from Syad Valley, you know, from a remote area like that down into the city. See, I was 11 years old when I moved to San Francisco. Yeah, I'd never even seen a black person.
Hmm.
Oh, we had a few Indians up there on the Klamath River, you know.
Yeah.
But in one child. That's all. I did never even been exposed to any kind of different people.
Yeah, that must be a culture shock.
Yeah, I remember the shock. Right.
Yeah.
Black people. Ruth, you know Ruth Pride.
Mm-hmm.
She almost got me in trouble.
Kelly's, right?
Hmm?
Kelly's. Ruth Kelly? Is that who you're talking
Kelly?
about? Oh, okay. I'm talking
Clyde. Clyde and Ruth.
I don't know who that is.
Well, that was your dad's. Oh, you know Ruth? I know you.
Oh, that's not Ruth. Her last name is Kelly now. Do they live in Sacramento? Stockton?
No, that's oh, and I'm talking about the young Ruth. That's,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
young Ruth.
All right.
The one that lived, I think, Millbrae up in there, that area
Okay.
somewhere. She told me, we was sitting on the steps one day, and this black man was coming up the street, and she said, now when he gets right here by us, you tell him, there goes a black cloud. So sure enough, when he got there, that's what I said. And boy, he turned around and gave us a dirty look, you know. And she run up the steps and left me sitting there, see. But I didn't know what I was saying.
Yeah.
I'd never seen black people before.
No, she.
I didn't know that was putting them down or anything. And that girl would have got Couldn't get it in trouble.
Mom,
I could take care of my key.
come in here.
What time is it? Oh my, is that 4 o'clock?
Yep.
I have to go.
Get your cake taken care of.
No, I gotta put
The
that.
thing is they brought these guys life, keep people from giving all our money to them.
Well, if Richard says this is so easy, let's ask
A
him
lot
to
of
do
dumb
it.
people, he'll come. Can you turn the camera off?
No,
You can't?
recording now.
Oh.
You may have to put your shoes back on if we screw up. Take them off again.
Ba-da-ba-da-boo. Ba-da-ba-da-boo-boo. Ba-da-ba-da-boo-boo. Yeah.
You better get your cigarettes.
See? Better get some of this stuff in. Get me a bigger stand up here, yes.
Good morning, Braden. What you got? What you got? Is that pretties? Oh.
Put on your hat. Put your hat on.
He knows who should have the hat. Men are supposed to have the hat.
Is that your take?
Is it?
Where's the other
I'm
ear?
gonna record something in mine.
He got him.
Where's the ear?
I don't know. Is he in it? Is he in it? He ain't in the picture, is he? There he is. There he is. Now he's coming to you. Now he's gonna be out again. No, he ain't out yet.
Where's that ear? Where's the other ear?
I don't know. It's over here somewhere. It fell off. Take that one off and we have a little hat. Look at you, silly boy. Look. Look how silly you
I
are.
see a baby. I see a baby.
On TV, Braden. Look at the
Look at
TV.
TV. Look at the TV.
Look at the TV, Braden. Look. Baby.
He was hurting you. There's a baby that's something new every day.
You're talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad this family's strung all over the country. You know,
Yeah. Could be worse.
I don't know. Walt's about as far away as you can get. Far as you can drive over to your place. You know,
I think quick.
look, quicker than you can go to Walt's.
Yeah, from here, Waltz would be a 2-day trip. It's just no good way to get there.
That's true.
Well, I was up at Mammoth and we thought we'd drive over to Waltz. When I got the map, Modoc County, when I got the map out and looked, there wasn't a good way to get there.
There's only one way to get there, isn't unless you want to go up around through Oregon.
Over and down.
Is the road, no, yeah,
You can,
there's a highway from, the Klamath River,
it's a bitch, so I get on that.
from Eureka.
Yeah, it winds around and it snakes around.
We've been
and
on it
it's
too.
2 lanes and it brings you into Sacramento area. There's a little highway. 2-lane road. Boy, it's something else to drive on it.
When we was out, there was a lot of logging trucks.
Yeah.
Lucy's got her turkey leg out there.
Uh-oh.
That's why he wanted it.
Why are you sitting on the couch, Mom?
See how good they're getting along this morning? That dog is not going crazy at you, you know what I mean? He's just calm. And usually he's jumping at him, and I mean, he's all hyper with him. This morning they're just sitting there calm, looking at each other,
Scratching.
eyeing each other up.
Oh, boy.
Good morning, America. Good morning, America. Good morning, America. Come see Grandma. Come see Grandma.
Randy, come over. You don't
You
need
got so many grandmas, you don't know which one I am. You gotta learn to count. You gotta learn to count before you know who I am. I think he has 5,
That's good.
doesn't he?
Some poor little kids don't.
No, maybe he's got more than that.
How in hell can you have 5 grandmas?
Well,
He's
there's
a
me-
great-grandparent.
Oh,
great-grandparent.
okay.
Me and my mother. Michael's mother is 3.
Okay.
Her mother's 4,
And his mother's
and
wife.
his mother's 5.
Like one grandfather, though. No, 2. He's got 2 grandfathers.
Lucky little boy.
Then you got Chris and
No, he's got 3.
Chris
So
and,
he's
and
got,
your stepdad and his dad. That's 2. And who's the other one?
well, his great-grandfather's still alive.
Back there?
Yeah, my father-in-law's dad. Both his parents are still living.
Yeah, he got some good, she got some nice 5th generation pictures, didn't you? Don't leave. Don't go. That's an old doggo.
Most of them live back in the same town.
Yeah, close enough, within an hour or 2. Within a couple hours. Never see Grandpa Hill, though. He never goes out of that house.
Well, he's old, isn't he?
He's only, I guess he's 81, 82.
Did I meet him? I don't think so.
He probably didn't come. You probably haven't met him.
No, I don't think
No, oh, he was over that day. I took the 5th generation pictures.
I used to know a guy named Walter J. Hill owned the Great Northern Railroad. Any relation to them people?
Oh, I don't know.
He owned the railroad. He was quite a man. Went around with Levi's, half his teeth was out. He old run-down cowboy shoes, and he owned the railroad. Drove a Ford, when the Ford wheel drive car came out in 1931 or 32, he had this Ford.
Yeah, you can't judge a person by what they
No,
wear.
he sure as hell can. Came out there, University City, bought about 100 acres of land, built a great big home out there. Had race horses and horses and cattle on it. Used to come to the garage, used to come over to Jess Beaver's garage where he worked, and his secretary was a good friend of Jess Beaver's wife. That's how come I got to know him. I knew them people real well. He was a funny guy.
Good morning. Come see Grandma. Come see Grandma.
You know, they in Ukaipa,
Go see Grandma. Come see Grandma.
they go out and they spray the darn flies. They tell people to stay in the house and they go spray. The county, city comes around and sprays.
I don't,
Why can't they do it here?
I don't
Give
know.
me
They
some
just haven't
We
put
should
the-
get on the ball about this.
haven't put out the money for it, I guess.
Here we go. Here we go.
They usually spray about 4 or 5 in the
Sit
morning
here.
when the winds are low.
Oh, come on. Sit down. Sit down. You're not going to do it, are you? You're not going to do it, are you? Oh, it's a big hole in my... Right down.
I'm sure no one could have a worse fly problem than what they have here.
You
Don't
gotta
rub your
play with
hole.
me or something, because I'm not just gonna sit here.
Well, he doesn't want to play. You don't want to play. Do you want to play with Grandma? No, you don't.
I want to play with that dog.
Get the dog. You play with the dog.
Oh. Get your foot out of the ashtray. Here, get your foot out of the ashtray, baby. You want down.
Yep.
You want the dog bowl. You want that old dog bowl. Look. I found something. Look. I found something. Look. I found something.
He's wired.
Yeah. Baby. This and this little piggy stayed home. And this little piggy got roast beef. And this little piggy got left. And this little piggy ate all the way home. Give the doggy spanking. Give the doggy spanking. Give the doggy spanking. Your hands are cold. Your hands and feet are cold. You're gonna stay up here, are you?
You don't have that.
Look at his face. Look at your poor beat up little face. You look like someone popped you one. Did Mommy do that? Did Mommy hurt your nose? Mommy hurt your eye? Yeah. Big ol' boo-boos. Big ol' boo-boos. Yeah. Big ol' boo-boos on your nose and on your eye. Mm-hmm. You sure pretty baby. Yeah. Say hello to Brandy. Well, there, Brandy, gonna get your foot. The dog is gonna get your foot.
Did you read this about the police outpost in Casablanca?
Wow.
What would it place, huh?
Yep.
Not many places make 60 minutes.
No. They'll take an atomic bomb and drop it on them Mexicans over there and get rid
His
of them.
hair is not real baby fine, is it?
It's thick.
It's gonna be real thick
He's got thick hair.
and wiry. Yeah, you can have hair like Daddy, maybe. Yeah, you're gonna have hair like Daddy.
My hair's thick though too, according to the people who cut my hair. I've never thought it was.
It's more than it was when you were small.
Knock knock, who's there?
Oh, don't.
Where's the tape for Lois?
Right over there.
Is it where it's ready?
Well, I guess. I don't know. Played around, fooled around with it so much that that's why I wanted to save some of what was on there and get another.